Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Thank you all for tuning in to another fresh episode of Open Letters to a Survivor. I am James. I have the beautiful queens here this weekend. Plus, we have a very, very, very special guest in the house with us tonight. So, of course, like always, I am going to leave all of that to Lady Poet when she comes in and starts her piece. But I just want to start off by saying thank you to the beautiful ladies here, to Lady Poet, to Kim, to K Love, and to Cassandra. We had an amazing weekend. We have been planning probably I will go on to say the biggest photo shoot of our lives. We have been pre-planning this for the last few months. So it finally went off this past Saturday, just yesterday. Went off without a hitch. The ladies were beyond beautiful. I can't wait for you all to be able to see these photos that they have taken. They just got them themselves, got the photos themselves. So they are still taking it in. But listen, Lady Poet is already sharing on social media. So trust and
Okay.
believe these photos are coming. But I just want to say thank you to the ladies, to say I love you. Like this is so much bigger than either of you could ever imagine. So to be able to pull this off with you, I'm elated. Like I feel like I have really done something with myself for the moment. And I can't wait until we do another one. And now the next one is gonna be on me because I'm so happy with how it turned out. And we got this beautiful cover of UG Digital Magazine that is gonna be going live in the next few weeks. And we got a cover shot for that. So that's going to be beautiful as well when everybody sees it. But I just wanted to say all of that. I will pass the baton to Lady Poet, who is going to get the show started with our special guest tonight.
Okay, so thank you everybody for tuning in today to Open Letters to a Survivor. So we appreciate all the love and support that we've been receiving. As you all know, October is our Survivor Story Month. So we've been talking to some phenomenal, amazing survivors and listening to their stories so we can let our viewers know that they're not alone with what they may be facing or going through. But before we start with our guest for today, we always have to go to our letters. So Cassandra with the letter, and then Caleb will be introducing our guest for today.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Lady Poet, and good evening to our viewers for Open Letters to a Survivor. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with what we say, right? Our open letter. So, dear survivor, abuse of any kind on any level is never okay. Unfortunately, not only do we sometimes have to heal from the external abuse that comes from other people, but at times we must also deal with, if we're really honest with ourselves, the journey through abuse of things that we do or say to ourselves. Drug abuse or drug addiction can begin from an external source or from within. Either way, the addiction starts from a lot of times decisions gone wrong. It becomes out of control, and you need help letting go and getting that monkey off your back. You can. You've survived other valleys in your life, and so I assure you, you'll survive this one. You don't have to do it alone, but you do have to get rid of the habit, the addiction, the trauma, and you can. You do have to live the life of your dreams, live life to its fullest. Simply, you do have to live. To fall down doesn't mean that you don't have the right or the authority to get back up. And get up and rise up, you shall. Listen to the lessons learned and the tips to be shared from tonight's guest Phoenix. We all have the ability to rise from the ashes, from the bottom, from what may even sometimes seem like the abyss. You are worth quitting the habit to save your own life. I love you, my friend. Take care and be well as you elevate along your healing journey. Sincerely, Lady Poet Speaks, K Love, the entire team of Open Letters to a Survivor, tonight's guests, Miss Alina Griffin Mays, and me, Cassandra Williams.
Yes, those letters every week you take it. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, we will introduce tonight, but I want everybody to know we're gonna be kind of lax tonight, even though we're talking about a serious topic. We're gonna put a trigger warning on for drug use, drug abuse. So yes, your letters are always beautiful, but we having coffee conversations tonight. We having tea conversation, and if you don't drink tea or coffee, get you a nice bottle of water like we got and have some water conversations, okay? It's just us ladies talking about our conversations, and we gonna do it. So it's no fear, no anything. We all family. So let's have our conversations. Take it away, K Love. Thank you.
Well, welcome, 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 everyone. We are so happy to have you all to view us tonight. And we are welcoming our guest, Lena Griffin Mays. She is a phenomenal woman. She is a mother, a sister, an auntie, a wife, even a grandma, which you wouldn't think, looking at her, but she has a story for us. We have known, Lady Poet and I have known Lena for some years now. And to see her blossom into the person that she is now is just amazing. And we're so excited and happy to have her here on our show tonight. So, sister, you relax, take a deep breath, and we just gonna have some fun tonight, talking about your survival, your life,
Yeah.
all about you, boo. So let's start with our first question.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. So our first question is, tell us about you and your story.
Okay. Well, of course, Lena Griffin Mays. I'm happily married for 6 years. Best decision ever. I have two wonderful boys, which is mainly my reason for everything that I have accomplished with the decisions I made in my life. Devon and Deshaun Griffin is my heartbeats. They're my reason. My mom, rest her soul, wish she was here to see this today, how happy she would be. It's been a journey. It ain't been easy, but it's necessary.
Mhm.
Yes, it's necessary. That's a nugget for tonight. So all
Right.
right, the nugget. So yeah. So we did you did introduce yourself, but can you dive into your story a little bit?
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Cleveland. A mom, single mother, an auntie that pitched in like the father. So when I say decisions didn't come from my household, my mom did the best she could with me, and I chose different paths in my life. And I just been here my whole life, and I'm just glad for the changes and God walking with me through everything that I've been going through and still going through, but still will be okay.
Amen.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Was that number?
Huh?
Was
So
that question 3?
no, that was number one. So number two.
Hmm.
Okay. So good evening, Lena. Could you please share with us why do you think it's important for women to get clean or men from from drug use, excuse me, and how many times did you try before you were successful?
Well, 1988 was the beginning for me, and it was decades. 2012 is when I finally got it right. So my thing about falling, it's not about falling, it's about what you do when you get up. No matter how many times you fall, you got to have something in you that wants better. It starts within, like it's from the beginning. Like I was talking to them earlier about my walk out here in the streets. It was one man that always kept saying, "Why are you here? why are you here? And I would be so angry, like, and it was just like God was sitting there like the whole time just telling me, but I was just too foolish to see what was being said to me at that time. But falling down is part of healing, is part of getting it together. Nobody's gonna walk and do it the first time, maybe not the 100th time, but one of those times you're gonna get it right.
Mhm. So
And
when
like,
the
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want you to elaborate a little bit more. You were on the streets and using, and you kept going somewhere where this man kept bugging you.
Yes. There were different houses where, you know, people go qualify and everything, get high. I was homeless. You know, I ran my races from house to house, getting put out, you know. First of all, when you're smoking drugs, you got all the answers. You can do this and fix it tomorrow, and that's just not the case. So I got put out of a lot of places, and when you out there, nobody cares, you know, and this is the part that's the hardest because you feel alone. So it drives you closer to the drug because that becomes your friend. And I slept behind a dumpster, you know, and life just started falling apart, crashing. You really don't have no friends out there. You no hope. You're just moving along. But that man just kept telling me the same thing, like, and I just kept holding that, but was irritated at the same time, if that makes sense. But that homelessness was a lot. That loneliness was a lot. Me not having my boys was breathtaking. But the drug had me bigger than anything. You know, I wanted out, just didn't know how to get out. I was sharing earlier about the maze, is the mouse in the maze, and wanting to get out but don't know how to get out. There's no opening. You just keep going and you hitting walls and still not accomplishing nothing and telling yourself not today, but it is today. But that mouse one day found that hole and it ran. That was me. When I found my out, I ran.
Right.
Wow. I love that. And that just lets people know that whatever you're going through is a way out. And it might not take you the first time. And you might keep hitting that wall. But eventually when you see that opening,
It starts with you. You know, like all addicts out here, I've been out here a long, long time, knowing different things, seeing a lot of different things. Wanting to stop still has to start with you. It's no such thing as you can't, you just got to want it.
Right.
You got to be bigger than that drug. The same way I picked it up, I had to learn how to put it back down. A lot of times people use different tools to get themselves together, and that's fine. Mine's wasn't in the walls. I'm not saying the walls it's not good for people. Your toolbox got to get filled with what you need to use to get you. What works for you may not work for the next person. But when it comes within and you start there and you want it bad enough, your bottom is just what it is, the bottom. And ain't nothing after the bottom but to come up. It ain't easy. It was not easy. I went through a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. And I hurt a lot of people along the way. When I started getting better, I also lost a lot of people too. So it's a hit or miss. Like, you just have to want better for your life. And like I said, my voice was my reason that saved my life because I hurt them. They didn't deserve that. I didn't get on drugs the way most people get on drugs. My self-esteem did that to me. And I picked it up, not knowing that, you know, in the 80s wasn't no meetings and stuff a lot about crack cocaine. It was just a recreational drug. It was fun, you know, we doing it. But once I tried to sit it down, someone told me I could lose weight. That was my opening. That was my reason. I didn't try drugs because I wanted to be on drugs. I didn't even come from a family that did drugs. It was told I could lose weight. And I was so tired of being fat. I was tired of being laughed at, talked about. Self-esteem was this big. So once the weight started falling off, and then when I got small, I'm like, oh, I don't need this no more. But then, not so much. That addiction was real. Then they come with the meetings and the stuff like that. But I just didn't use the walls to help me. I picked it up by myself and I set it down with God. I had to have God. I couldn't do it by myself. God helped me through this. I was a chosen one, and anybody can be chosen. You got to choose him too.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that because that's some nuts right there. We're gonna come back to that. But so the next question is, what are some steps we can take as a community so that women and men know more about resources and options to take to protect themselves from drug abuse and sometimes from drug abuse after trauma that they faced?
You have to reach out, whether it's a friend, a family member, the church. I mean, you got to gravitate to something that gives you motivation. And for me, there was nobody. You know what I'm saying? I was talked about. I felt alone. So my motivation had to come from within. And that voice that I started listening to was God, that led me to places and people that gave me resources and stuff. So you don't ever have to be alone. And that's the problem, because they feel like an addict don't deserve to be talked to. They just out here. They made a mistake. They're not bad people. They just got caught up in bad situations. And just unfortunately, that drug takes over every being of your body, your mind, your soul. You will sell your soul if that gets you the drug. You don't care about the people. My kids would be at home. I would leave them with my mother. But I just felt like my mind was like, oh, they with my mother, they safe. No, I was hurting my kids because I wasn't there to kiss them at night. I wasn't there to help them read that book. I just felt safe because I knew they were safe. But I was unfair. So you have to find your resources, grab hold to somebody. Like I said, whether it's the walls, whether it's the church, whether it's a friend, somebody that's going to uplift you and say, I got you. And it's okay that you fail. We're going to try this again tomorrow. I didn't have that. You know, I was the scum. I was she done just disappointed me. Let her be out there. And then in my head, it's like, what am I fighting for? There was nothing to hold on to. But God said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And when I say he's walked me a long, long way.
Yeah.
And I've been for years wanting to tell my story. And I mean, I got stories. A lot of stories. But just to know today, I want to know and let people know you are loved and somebody do care. And if you want it, then you walk and you fight and you do whatever it takes to come out that hole, because it is light. It's definitely some light.
Amen. 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 All right, sis. So now, with all of that being said, tell us about what you are doing to keep yourself clean and free from drugs.
I have a motto, like, because the old, well, I ain't gonna say an old saying, but they say, oh, once an addict, always an addict. I don't call myself an addict. I don't. I just feel like God helped me stay on this path. And I promised myself that if I walked out of this, and they say never, but I don't care what happens in my life, how deep, how bad, I play my tape backwards. And I say that was my tool. Because every time I thought about going to get high, I thought about, in the beginning, it's all good. You running, you got money, everybody your friend, everybody, oh, you can come over here. I got you. Let's do this. when it's all gone,
Mm-hmm.
ain't nobody there. You done spent the rent money, the grocery money, the kids at home. Ain't nobody got nothing. Your mama mad because I done left the kids for 3-4 days.
Mm.
And then I smoked cigarettes back there. I couldn't even get a cigarette. Like, it didn't make sense. It just didn't make. So if I play it backwards, I don't go. I don't go around people, places, and things. Not that I'm better than anybody, because I pray for all of them that I qualify. And that when I was out there qualifying, but last weekend, I was out riding around, taking pictures of all the places I lived, which was amazing that I lived probably everywhere in Cleveland. But the one place where I had stayed behind the dumpster, people that I used to qualify was still outside.
Mm.
And I just had to go. But I prayed for them because they still got to want it. Me showing how good I'm came up or how much I'm doing better, that doesn't make, the addict feel better. You know, I'm not there to show off, or I'm not better than you because I was just at the table with you. It's so easy to just fall back into those bad habits. You just gotta know to do the right thing in life. And now my life is on a whole nother level. And my life I seen my growth from where I was from 1988 to 2012. The growth and the walk that God has done for me has been phenomenal. I owe him my life. I gave the devil all of me. And it's time out. It's over with. God got all of me now. I got to get obedient and get my life together. And if I can help anybody, I was down low. And I mean, everybody got the story they have for being out there on drugs. But I lost my kids. I just went through so many things that today it's not going to happen like that. And I just want people to know, if you can't call nobody, you can call me. Because I know what that loneliness and that emptiness and not having nobody, not feeling loved and not worthy enough. You are worthy enough to get through anything that you're going through. And drugs is a hard thing. It's very hard to get off of. But you can do it. You definitely can do it.
Yes. And thank you.
So, Lena, we have a pledge for our viewers on the show, and I'm going to read through the pledge for you. But my question, and again, I'll repeat the question as well, is why do you think this pledge is important? Okay. And so here's our pledge. Today we pledge that we will not let survivors fight alone, that upon disclosing abuse, we will not only stand in the gap in prayer, but assist in resources. We will believe and guide them through the trauma and let them know they are not alone. Today, we stand up for every survivor whose voice shakes when telling their story. For survivors who choose to heal loudly because they had to be quiet for so long. When families and the justice system fails them, we will still uplift them and help them find their worth. We pledge today to continue our work and fight for survivors. Why do you think that pledge is important?
That pledge is very important because I'm going to go back again and say that feeling alone make people stay out there longer. If you just take the time to hear that person's cry, that plea, to pray with that person, just to let them know, no matter how dark your night, how lonely you are, you could pick up that phone and you can call me. I'll meet you at the store. I'll meet you at the coffee shop. If you want it, I just feel like if they know that it's somebody that they can reach out to in their darkest moment, when they done took their last hit and ain't nowhere to go, but I got one person that I could talk to that will uplift me, direct me, not judge me, and give me that hug that I so need, that pledge is definitely where we should stand up and help our lost addicts. They're lost. They may not even want to be where they are, but if they got one person and
Yes.
somebody to keep and direct them to God, the light will shine. But if you leave them out there like the trash that they think that people are, and they're not worthy to be talked to, they chose this life, let them be, that's not true.
Mhm.
Some people just get caught up and we get judged wrong. You know, be there for that person. So that pledge is very much, you know, like I said, God took care of me for decades, a fool, a complete fool with making decisions.
Mhm.
Had nothing to do with God. Because see, what we think is we got it. We got the answers. We got the plan. We know how to scheme. We know how to. That's no good. He took care of this fool, and he'll take care of anybody else if you just allow him.
Mhm.
You, like I said, my number is open. Whatever things we need, anybody needs some help, I would love to share any of my stories, how I made it. I was a size 3. I mean, I can go on and on about what drugs did to me. But to be there for someone and save someone, to get on the path that I'm on now, I would love it. I would
Yes.
embrace it. I would never turn my back because I was that lost soul out there. And I don't wish that on nobody. If you want out, you can get out.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and that's powerful because a lot of times, even when like going through things, even when you're depressed, even when you have anxiety, even when you have all of these things, you feel alone. You feel like don't nobody care, don't nobody want to, or you be like, okay, well, people cared when I first got upset, but yeah, it's been months and maybe they think I should be over it, but I'm not over it, so I'm not okay. But I don't want to tell nobody I'm not okay, but I'm really not okay.
Right?
So just to have that support and that person to say, no, okay, I've been there, but you okay because I'm okay and I got through it.
Right.
So that's amazing. So we're not going to share your number on YouTube, but we will share it. If you do want to reach out to Lena, I will give her email address at the end, but you can always email us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com and we will put you in contact with her. And trust me, she's also going to be doing some things behind the scenes with us as our peer support person. So if you do need that assistance, if you do need that talk, we've already talked about it. She's willing to come on a team and be our peer support for behind the
Yes.
scenes for people who need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you already touched on the next question, but I'll go ahead if you got something else you want to add. But what encouraging word or words do you have for another person who is in a similar situation? They're struggling and they're hurting and feeling alone and can't seem to find their way out of their addiction.
Um, all I could say is if you want out, pray your way out. God is the only way, and your own decisions in your mind. When you tired, you tired. When you lost everything you can lose, ain't nothing else to do but call on him. That's it. Man can't fix you. You can't do it on your own.
Right.
You have to find a solution, a person. God is your first and foremost. Now, if you got somebody that's squared up on your team that's really down for you to help you, guide you, then you use whatever resources by all means necessary. The same means that we did to get high, you used them resources to get your life together. Get it together because we ain't got one, and I don't look like nothing I've been through. And I thank God for that every
Yes.
day. Every day that I can tell anybody I'm sorry, I do. If I can give you something encouraging, I will. If you're hungry, I'm going to feed you. If you're thirsty, I didn't have a dime. I used to eat out of grocery stores to get full. So I would never, ever shame nobody that's out there, whether it's on purpose or just because. Life got something way better.
Yes.
Gotta get there. You got to get there. It ain't easy, but it's necessary, like I said. And I fought. And every day I still do, because at any given moment, the devil can walk right in and say, hey, you think you got it like that? You think you do? I step on his neck. He can't have none of me. Not one bit, not with no drugs or nothing.
Yes.
That was a hard battle to come through. That's why I said that pledge of not feeling alone is very necessary. Very.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I got a question for you, but and doing something a little different today, since we kind of short, I'm gonna ask this last question.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna open it to K Love and Cassandra to give you some encouraging words on the next part of your journey.
All
so
right.
I feel like when God speaks to me, I speak. Obedience come before the sacrifice. So I gotta be obedient to what He's telling me to do. So after I read this last question and you answer it, I'm gonna go first, then K Love, then Cassandra. We're gonna give you some encouragement on the next phase. And if anybody in the comments that's watching that want to give some encouragement or ask some questions, please feel free, because we will put it up and we will ask those questions. So feel free to ask anything you like. That's what we're here for. And then we'll go into the rest of our show after that. But the Lord told me to speak life into you, like by you speaking life to other people. So for our last question, before we do that, is and me and K Love gonna cheer you on for this one. But what's next for you? And if needed, how can our viewers reach out for additional support and questions?
Well, what's next for me is my book number 2. This is book 1. Will be book signing next Sunday at Loganberry
Books on Larchmere.
Absolutely. I am in the process of, this is more like my dedication book, my introduction to my life. My next book is going into more of the events that happened to me on the streets. But this is a big accomplishment for me, whether it's 100 pages, 50 pages. I'm so excited that I'm to be able to tell my story, help somebody. I won't stop. I just won't. And I thank my girls over here for helping me get this book. I've been talking about this book for at least 10 years, wanting somebody to hear my story. And they helped me bring and birth this to life. So I couldn't have done this without y'all. I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for Sunday. And God has really touched me because I was so nervous. But God is good. So that's my next step, is to write my second book, stay encouraged, stay prayed up, and hope that I can help anybody out there that needs some help.
Yes. And I'll add for Lena, because I kept it a secret. I mentioned it a little bit, but I was her ghostwriter. So I did a lot of the prep work and stuff for her. So she got me on here to kind of assist her. So and then we got a comment from Renee. It says, no questions, just comment. Lena, you are so strong and I'm proud of you, and we all are proud of you.
Thank you.
This book is called Redeemed and Washed Clean, and I think we've all had moments in our life when we needed redemption, no matter what it was, whether it was pain, whether it was sorrow, whether it was hurt that we put on somebody else. We needed redemption. So this is her story about how she was redeemed and washed clean because she's the daughter of a king. Okay.
Can I say one thing though?
Yeah, go ahead.
So in my hardship, I had a auntie and a cousin. I don't want to say they knew, but just for it to be out my system, I was able to go to them no matter what. And to this day, he still be there for me. I'm his pain in his side. But before my auntie passed, she asked me to stick by my cousin's side. And one thing he said to me Might have been a little bit after his mom passed, because I was always that one at their house. Let me get some money. I need this, and buy me a car. Can you pay my rent? When I had places, but I was still out there using, but they were people that took care of me. But he said something to me. He said, I'm proud of you. You ain't asking me for no money. I said, you know, if you're good, I can go to my bank and get my own money. But I just wanted to get a shout out that I did have some good people. You know, they were disappointed, but I know they love me. They just didn't want to watch me do what I did and ruin my life the way that I did, because it was so unexpected. This wasn't Lena, but of course it came to be my story. But I just wanted to make sure that if he on here listening, I just want to thank him, you know, and my boys, I want to thank them too.
Right. And get that shout out to that husband that you.
Oh, and my husband, because when I tell you part of my journey, and I mean not to, you know, go overboard, but I didn't get happy till I was 47 years old. I'm 57 years old. And all the men in my life, I got beat for 2 years, 7 months, and 14 days every day of my life. I didn't know what it was like to be loved or thought anybody would ever love me. My husband that I have today from 2018, when I met him, he almost lost him. He said, my work cut out. Something, you know, you ain't never been. I always had that wall up. I just, what's next? You know, I didn't know you could be loved. I didn't know you would look in my face and ask me how my day was, and just to show love. So I finally found someone that loves me, respects me. We ain't perfect. We have our moments, but I know he got my back.
Yes.
I have his, but
Right.
that's a whole nother topic of a lot of stuff that happened in my life, but I didn't know what it was like to be loved. So how could I give love if I ain't never, I just didn't know. But he's been my rock. He's been my rock.
Well, thank you. And that's good, because let me tell you, when God can restore, he gonna restore. So so we waiting on that. So, but if you want to reach out to Lena, she does have a email address, and that's redeemedandwashedclean@yahoo.com. You can shoot her questions if you just need to talk after the show. She's there. And do you want me to tell people where they can find your book, or wait till after the signing?
After the signing.
Okay. So after the signing, we will not be on next week, but after the signing. And Tracy Avant said, I am so proud of you, Lena.
I love you, Tracy.
And I have loved you no matter what. And we know that.
Yes. And that's another one that's been my rock too. She never judged me. Real quick, how people, when they know you use drugs, they don't let her in the house. Oh, she might steal. That's the cousin there that never, ever judged me.
Right.
Now, she might have stayed away till she didn't want to see things I was going through, but she never judged me.
Right. And that's amazing. So, yes, Renee says she can't wait to get her hands on your book.
I can't wait for you either, Renee. I'm gonna see you Sunday.
So that's Sunday at 2:30. Brokenberry Books. In their meeting room, we got it all set up. So just be there. You're in for a treat.
Yes,
and
Sunday is a treat too.
And our own co-host K Love, she will be performing that day. So we will have her in a performance that day. So you're in for a treat. And so, Lena, I just want to speak life into you. We've been talking about this since 2016 when we first met doing this book. And when I became an author, I said it was something that I was going to do for you. So this year when we talked about it, and we didn't think it was going to be reality, and all I said to you was, I got you. Don't worry about nothing. Yeah. I got you. And you was kind of reluctant. But when I told you that when God speaks, you got to move and you got to be obedient. So for your obedience God is rewarding you. Your story is getting out there. And if you save one person, you saved a nation, because that one person can birth miracles through other people. So
Amen.
you telling your story today, no matter what it seemed like, no matter how hard it was, no matter the journey you got to, you at this place right now. And you inspire me like nobody's business. I mean, like I said, about a week or two ago, we talked on the phone for 2 hours. And I think it was a little bit of encouragement for the both of us.
Yeah.
So you just let me know that even though Open Letters to a Survivor is here to help us get through the situations we need to get through with support, building a support system is always necessary, because you need strong women around you to go to bat for you when you can't. So I thank you for being one of my strong women, and I'm thankful that I'm one of yours, because at the end of the day, we ain't going to fight alone, you know?
Right.
And so I love you. I got your back all for always and
I
eternity.
love you too.
I'm MCing next week, so if you guys are there, just come. I'll be your MC. So we will be there. I love you, Lena.
I
We
love
ain't going
you.
nowhere. Our friendship thick as thieves, and so we got that. So and so I'll turn it over to K Love to give you some encouragement today.
Okay, so Lena, I'm gonna try real hard not to cry.
Don't you make me cry.
We all gonna be crying, so.
But you just don't know how you are a light in people's lives. When you are authentic and you're truthful and honest, I'll never forget, you encouraged me. We were in the hallway at work, and you shared some of your life with me, and I was like, dang, to look at you, I would have never known that you went through any of that. And you were encouraging me about my current situation with my relationship, and you was just imparting into me. And that was when we initially really connected. And then I ended up, doing stuff for you, planning your wedding reception and all of that. And we just became sisters after that. But you accepted me, and you were willing to impart into my life, not really knowing me that well, but just enough to say, hey, no, you do this and you do that. And I can tell you that because of what I've been through and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just standing there like a sponge, soaking it all up because God knew I needed it at that time and at that moment. And I never forsake the opportunity to speak love and life into someone, just like how you did me.
Yes.
And that carried me. I mean, you welcomed my mom at that time at your home when I was, getting plans and doing things and getting stuff together. And that was amazing to me, because most people, when they know about certain people's ailments, they be like, nah, can't have that at my house or whatever,
Right.
but you were just so open and your heart is so big. And I'm inspired by how your family moves and operates and loving on you and you loving on them and doing stuff for each other and celebrating life, because you understand that God gave you chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. While you was out here being a fool, God said, I still got you, boo. You still my daughter. It shows in your life, even now, even more so now, because you've got the victory. You survived. And now you're able to turn that around. No matter how long it took for you to get here, it's in God's timing, not ours, because there is a need right now for your story. So I love you.
Love you too.
And I thank you. You are amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we can all cry because we know who Lena really is. And, Cassandra, I'm going to let you go right now. But I want to just say what everything K-Love said is true. Because when we met, I used to have a temper. My temper used to, like I would fly off the handle. Like I would go from that, when they say 0 to 100 real quick, they meant it. You could ask Tracy too, because she in the comments. Knowing how the person I used to be on K-Love. And for Lena and for K-Love to love me through that time, because they saw past that anger. They saw the hurt. And for them to speak life into me when I thought nobody understood meant everything to me. And so that's why today when God said speak life to her, we had to do it, because it was times you stopped me and you said, I see that anger. You're not an angry person because you smile, you bubbly, you love what you do. But that anger take you to a person you're not there. But nobody sat and really listened to what I was going through on the outside. But you did, Lena, and you never judged. Never. And you used to be like, and I used to laugh all the time, and I'm gonna make you laugh through them tears. You used to be like, it's okay, Tink Tink, I got you.
Tink Tink is still my word. That all Tink Tink. I have to, because I'm a big crybaby. You know, my heart. I don't want nobody to feel none of that pain that I had to feel. So if I got the heart that I have to wrap my arms around you, if I could have just had that, it might have been okay. But it took all that time for me to figure it out. So if I can embrace you with this heart that I have, I'm giving it to anybody.
Thank you. Yes, and you have done that. And so we're going to go to Cassandra, then we're going to let Tim do our motivational minute so we could get ourselves together, you know.
Right.
So go ahead, then we'll close. All praises to God for you powerful women. Keep being an inspiration. We will, Tracy, and I love you.
Yes.
Because you never judge me either. So Tracy, I do love you. And yeah, she is her thing. But we'll let Cassandra go. We'll have Tim, and then we'll close the show with our Let's Go to Therapy and our motivational minute. And we'll see you all at Loganberry Books next Sunday at 2:30. What time did I say? 2:30. What time did I say? 2:30.
Yes.
What time did I say?
2:30.
2:30.
Be there, everybody.
Be there, and we got a good show for you. And Lena, I have a surprise for you that day.
Uh-oh.
So, yes.
Did you see that, Cassandra? Uh-oh.
So go ahead, Cassandra, then we'll turn it over to Tim.
I'm going to keep this quick but heartfelt. Ms. Lena, thank you so much for coming on. It has indeed been a pleasure. You and I don't personally know each other, but you have, I understood you were quite nervous. And I tell you, I never would have known that if they hadn't mentioned it, because you came up here, you stood in your truth.
Yes.
You stood in your story. You stood in your testimony. And for that, we thank you, because it's not easy. And so I've learned a lot about you and a lot from you just in a little bit of time that we've been here. So I can only imagine as we continue further, what else I'll be able to learn and take away. So I'm claiming you as a mentor, right? In that love and light and truth and speaking to God's purpose. That was a huge takeaway to me. I've had family members who have gone through drug addiction, and like you said, to see on the outside the changes that they went through, not really knowing. For me, I was a child, and so not really knowing what all they were really dealing with in their lives, and to see things that they went through and how my parents had to kind of work to protect me and my brothers again as children, kind of speak to us in as best they could about what was happening, but at the same time protecting us and shielding us in a way that, we wouldn't be led astray in that same direction. And like you said, it's just about decisions. It doesn't have to be drug abuse. It can be anything, right? And even when you're in situations that weren't necessarily by design from you, at some point you kind of choose to do something within. You choose to stay in it. You can choose to leave it. You choose to tell your story about it. You choose to live another day. You choose because you don't have to, because it's easy to quit. It's easy to quit. It's hard to keep going. And so to take that easy route we wouldn't be sitting here today. And so I thank you for your obedience to God and the words that were spoken into your life, that you, no matter how many times it may seem that it didn't work, that you continue to get back up and say, nope, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to beat this again. It got me, but I'm not down. I'm down, but I'm not out. I'm going to do this again. And so that was a huge takeaway for me, because it gave me the inspiration of knowing that the things that I think are so much in my life aren't really so much. If you can overcome what you've overcome in your life, I most definitely can rise up in mine. And so in my survivor letter, I called you a phoenix, not realizing how true that really was. And so for that, I thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes. And after the show, I'll make sure y'all two exchange numbers, okay?
Yes, yes. Anytime, like I said, yes.
Yeah. And then, like I said, before we turn it over to Tim, we're about to do that now. Lena will be behind the scenes as our peer support person. We did bring her in. We kind of, threw the cast out and we reeled her in. So she'll be doing some behind the scenes work with us. So if you do need her, you can always email us.
Please do.
Letters to a survivor at gmail.com, and we will forward it to her. We won't even open it if you put Lena in the subject line. We'll send it straight to her. So we're going to turn it over to Tim for our motivational minute. Thank you so much, Lena. I love you. And so take us to church, Tim. Okay.
How everybody doing?
All right.
Not as well as you. All right now.
I've been out all day. Went to pretty much about 3. Technically it was 3 worship services, but under some circumstances, the second one didn't go as planned. But God had a greater plan for us. But as I go in, just hearing everything just leads me just to saying, though the storms keep on raging in my life,
All right
and
now.
sometimes it's hard to tell the night from day, still that hope that lies within is writ ashore as I keep my eyes upon the distant shore. I know he'll lead me safely to that blessed place he has prepared. But if the storms don't cease, and if the winds keep on blowing in my life, my soul has been anchored in the Lord.
Ooh, amen.
You got to keep your soul anchored in the Lord. And when I brought that song, it was sang earlier at my church this morning, and it speaks life to me, because when you're experiencing certain circumstances, when you're going through certain things, you got to have a reminder to know that everything's going to be all right. If you keep your mind stayed on Jesus, if you keep your soul anchored in the Lord's going to take you to an even higher place, and even better place for you. And he has a plan for you, as the Spirit of the Lord was speaking to the people in Jerusalem, in the book of Jeremiah 29:11. He says, "For I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." I'm coming on here to tell you that the Lord has a plan for each and every one of you all. He has a plan for you that no one can get in between, because whatever it is for you, it is for you. And sometimes you're going to go through some hurdles. You're going to go through some hurting and some pain, but God's got a plan for you. He's never going to leave you nor forsake you, as he said.
He froze. When we give God praise, the devil busy. But before he do that, while he's trying to reconnect, we want to give a special shout out to the photographer from yesterday, Draco Lamar. You did an amazing job on what you did for us and for my team. as well as for the whole UG Digital family. So we thank you. While he's trying to reconnect, K-Love and Cassandra, you could go ahead with the spotlight. And you could go ahead. Oh, he's back. Go let him go ahead. So go. I'm sorry, you had disconnected for me.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. It just I
You know
was
whenever
talking.
whenever you give God glory, the devil busy. So you could go ahead
Yeah,
and continue.
yep. The devil continued to get busy because the devil tried to get busy earlier at the second service, and I had because someone accidentally, as pepper spray, Mason accidentally came out. Someone I guess had it in their purse, and it sprayed through the whole church. So we had to end up leaving because it can't get in your eyes, and everybody was coughing and sneezing. But the devil gonna try to get busy, but we just have to remain faithful unto him, unto the Lord, and the Lord's gonna always provide. That's what the Lord's gonna continually do within the plan that he has for you, because it's a plan that no one can get in between. As Jesus was speaking to the churches in Revelations in chapter 3, when he was saying that the doors I open, no man can close. The door that the Lord's opening for everyone, for you all, no one can close. So I just ended by just saying that God has a plan for you, that no one can get in between. Just know that. Remain faithful unto God, and God's got a plan.
Thank you. Okay, he cut off. You'll see him. We won't be here next week, but Tim, you are invited to the book signing as well. So if you are available, please come at 2:30. We are sorry about the technical difficulties you're having today, but we love that you give that awesome word every week. Thank you. We'll turn it over to K-Love and Cassandra.
Awesome. So speaking of our brother Tim, we're going to go to the spotlight. Our very own Tim Stevens is launching his clothing, Righteous Brothers line. That will be in December 18th, somewhere around that time. And it's Tim today you can reach him at right.brothers 216 on Instagram, launching December 17th. And it's to stay right, get right, do right, be right, all the rights. And if you want to put your business in our spotlight, you can also email us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and just in the box in the subject box put spotlight. And then also with our Let's Go to Therapy, contact Shamar Thomas Hutchin with a different approach to therapy, specializing in around the clock approach. So there's never any excuse why you can't get therapy. So she specializes in trauma, and she is also the creator of Melanated Minds, and you can reach her on those platforms under that. And also we have Belinda Williams, who specializes in trauma in our community with the brown people. Yeah, contact her. She works for the Community Health and Wellness Institute, or Health and Wellness Center. And you can reach her at Belinda at chawc.org.
Thank you.
And if you also have a therapy services and you would like to be on our Let's Go to Therapy, please email us again at Open Letters to a Survivor, and in the subject line put therapy.
Cassandra, you could go ahead. Tim, if you still want to speak, I will let you go after Cassandra, okay?
All right. So we are looking for sponsors, right? So your support matters. By sponsoring Open Letters to a Survivor, you join us in our commitment to improving mental health outcomes for people of color and tackling systemic disparities. Help us to continue this important work by becoming a sponsor. Reach out to us at openletterstoasurvivor@gmail.com, and in the subject line, write sponsor.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Please join us next week for Lena's book signing. We will not be on, but we will still have an episode to play for you guys. So please still like, comment, share, subscribe. Like always, we love you. We'll be back the first week in November for guess what? Let's go to therapy month, because we tell you all about it, but we got some actual therapists coming on to talk. So that look like us, if you know what we mean. So we love you. Please, thank you for tuning in tonight. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye.
So